Conference named its Football All-Decade team for the 2010s, which featured 3 Argonauts and head coach Pete Shinnick being named Coach of the Decade. Marvin Conley was named to the first team, while Tate Latio and John Williamson were voted onto the second team. Shinnick has been the architect of one of the most inspiring startup programs in the history of college athletics, taking UWF to the NCAA Division II playoffs twice in 4 years of the program. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Jaheim Simmons for the West Florida Jags. Check his film and you will see all you need to know about this young man. At a shade under 200 pounds, Simmons runs like he's a fullback. This young man can punish you between the tackles, outrun you to the edge, and run by you in coverage. He truly is the complete package. Oh, you're looking for consistency? How about averaging over 5 yards a carry and 106 yards a game last year for the Jags? After he burst onto the scene, he already has an offer to UAB and interest from schools in the ACC. And don't worry, there'll be more to come, you can bet on that. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Okay, here are 5 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a high school sport.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline, sportsmanship, and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages and fewer disciplinary problems.
Number 3.
High school sports help fight teen obesity and substance abuse.
Here's number 4.
High school sports provide wholesome, constructive after-school activity, perfect for today's families.
And number 5.
And high school sports are safer than ever before. Injury surveillance and research, better equipment, and the continuing education programs for coaches provided by state and national athletic associations have made high school sports safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Look, chicken restaurants are nothing new. But if you're saying been there, done that, it tastes like chicken. Well, if your friends offer you a brand new convertible or a broken down station wagon with 3 wheels, do you say, hey, they're both cars? Well, the people have spoken. Mr. Pollo on 9th Avenue was voted top 100 places to eat in the country by Yelp at number 61. Making chicken great again, America. It's that good. Try it and you'll be hooked for life. The freshest ingredients and the perfect catering for any big party. Mr. Pollo. It means chicken.
JP here with Talk Football and the Sports Drive. At ESPN Pensacola, we're hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Famer Derrick Brooks.
The Super Bowl, and they're trying to win it for us. 3rd down, 18. Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derrick Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. He's gone. Derrick Brooks all the way.
This is former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Washington High School alum Derrick Brooks. You listen to ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Welcome to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. We appreciate you joining us. Of course, hope everybody is staying safe. Of course, washing your hands, practicing social distancing. I know numbers are going up a little bit, but you know what? Things opening up, that is going to happen. Do not panic. We are going to get through this. We, have gotten through this so far, so we're going to be just fine. Everybody continue to use common sense, like I said. Respect each other, and we're going to get through this. Hopefully we get our sports back and everything. But regardless, as we always start off the show, we're going to continue to do this. It goes without saying. I want to thank our first responders and healthcare workers this time. What they go through each and every day, it's crazy. Just you hear people say, walk a day in my shoes. Well, these folks go through it. They go through the ringer each and every day. And they go through it with a positive attitude. I have friends and family on both sides, and they love what they do. They love that they can help people each and every day. And you know what? We are so grateful. And to hear the stories from the support they get from the community is fantastic. But we want to thank them so much. As well as, our grocery store employees, truck drivers, all the essential workers out there. We thank them so much because in a time right now where normal is not a word we use, well, they're bringing a little normalcy to what's going on around us. But those are people that I think tend to forget about sometimes. Maybe you go into Walmart or BJ's here around the corner, close to the station or whatever it is. We forget, how does this stuff get here? How do these, they open up? Well, it's these employees, these truck drivers. I think truck drivers are the silent heroes there. I know I've actually talked to a few of them that listen to the show, and they're so grateful that we give them the shout out because you know what? They don't hear it all the time, but thank you guys, all you guys, so much. We are so grateful. But, Coach, first things first, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well. Good to be with you, JP.
Absolutely, Coach. It is always a pleasure. And, we have a ton to talk about today. I want to start off because, this is something Dr. Fauci, we heard him last week say basically if the NFL can't play in a bubble, then they don't need to play this season. Well, he kind of walked some statements back and said, listen, they were taken out of context, even though I will disagree. I think he realized the mistake that he made in saying that the way that he did. But, Coach, it comes down to this. He said the situation this fall will be dictated by the dynamics of COVID-19 outbreak in the U.S. Obviously, we know that. The NFL is planning for that. He said, you would want to see the level of infection dramatically decreased and good control of any evidence of resurgence again. But the officials of the league, in consultation with the players, will make their own decisions with their own medical personnel. And, Coach, I think it's very important when we talk about this for Fauci. Now, we'll talk about the NFLPA and what they advise players to do in a second. But, Coach, the NFL is on top of this. The NFL, for people to say, I hear the Le Batard show and stuff talk about this stuff all the time and hear certain people say, well, it's just all about money. Well, yes, it is part about money for sure. Because the same thing with this country, we cannot stay closed down the entire time. I'm not going to bring the politics into this. I hate bringing any of that into it. But what I am saying is, as a country, we have to open up to some extent. And for the NFL, our country needs sports right now. These players have the best medical care. This is just, for me, I think it's a no-brainer. But for Dr. Fauci kind of walking his statements back, Coach, not surprised that he said this. And to be honest with you, it's more of a thanks, Captain Obvious, when he says that the NFL will make their decision.
Well, this is much bigger than even that. With Fauci, believe me, the NFL has I don't put myself in a position of grading medical care, but you can bet the NFL has as good or better, and better in most cases, and many more medical people, doctors, giving them advice than Fauci. Now, what you have to understand, too, look, there's a concerted effort out there to raise the misery index in this country. They would like for the economy to go down the tubes. They'd like to see another bout of this virus so that some people might have to shut down some things again, which would create something bad with the economy. No sports. Don't allow any sports to play. That would also keep the looting and the antagonists out there in the streets and keep a certain fear among the population. All those things would be great for a rather large contingent of people. And we have to start understanding this. It is a big, big problem. You're just going to have to listen. We're going to have to fight through it, and we will. I think most of the new cases are because of the increased testing, and there are far less people in the hospital and far less deaths. So that part of the curve has gone down, which is good. Let's just still be aware. I think people have to be aware that there is a virus out there. Do the best we can to prevent it and get going. Let's get this country back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Coach, and that's a great point. Is we still have to be aware that the virus is there. It's very real. Obviously, like anything else, whether, and I'm not comparing it. I want to make this very clear before the people that are just waiting on me to say something wrong here. Look, the flu, regardless, if you have somebody with the flu, you stay away, you quarantine, you get better, you move on here. Look, we're getting a lot of, players testing positive. They're okay. I want to make this clear. I'm not saying this to everybody. For people that if you have lost somebody with COVID-19, deeply, deeply saddened by it. I'm not downplaying the deaths, but the deaths are going down, obviously. The cases are going up, and we have to understand why. Testing is rapidly available, like you mentioned, Coach, more than ever now, so everybody can get tested. Where a lot of these people before, remember, you had to meet criteria to get tested. Now you can just drive up and get tested really just at will, as much as you want. So that's where I think things are different. I think the cases have been here, but we have to take this step by step. And look, I will say this. If you're worried about it, continue to wear a mask, which I think wearing a mask is not a bad idea regardless, but take precautions. But a lot of these people, Coach, I will say this because I've seen it. A lot of people are hypocrites on this because they're the same people that we're fixing to talk about here, but they criticize people, but yet they go out to Walmarts and they go out to these grocery stores and they don't protect themselves or they get close, regardless, don't practice social distancing. I'm not going to get into that, but I am saying please check yourself first before you want to come after others. It's important to evaluate ourselves moving forward. But, Coach, stepping into this next one here, the NFLPA advised players basically to urge them not to take part in group workouts this offseason prior to the start of training camp. Of course, this comes with the increase in cases that we're seeing across the country in some places here. This is where I want to get into this because this was something on First Take. Coach, I think we both feel the exact same way about this gentleman, Max Kellerman, criticizing Tom Brady, saying basically he should be adhering to guidelines. I'll mention, too, Russell Wilson was a part of this. Russell Wilson had his own group over there holding workouts. Remember, this is groups of 10 or less. I think Russell Wilson had 4 people out there. I think Brady had 10. These guys out there throwing the football, getting ready. But the thing is with Max Kellerman, he wants to bring politics into this and saying that the states, the GOP and things like that are higher here. I'm not going to get into that. I think that is exactly what Max Kellerman wants to do. That's the road he goes down. I don't listen to what spews out of his mouth anyway, unless maybe he's talking about boxing, and even I can't really trust him with boxing just because of what he talks about. But regardless, Coach, I want to make this very clear for people that want to, and this is Max Kellerman, Stephen A. did, of course, in support of Tom Brady, understanding understanding who Tom Brady is, saying, Coach, look, these guys receive medical care each day. They have the majority of them have children to go back to. If you still think they're selfish, check yourself. Look, I'm not a Tampa fan. I could honestly care less, Coach, but we wake up and understand this isn't some random group of kids playing in the park next door with 30 kids running around. These are professional athletes. They do have a job to do, and there is ways, obviously, to practice this and still being able to go out and practice. These guys have to get ready. They can't just jump in and get ready within a month of a football season. Coach, guys like Max Kellerman just burn me up a little bit. I know you feel the same way, but, I mean, come on. We have to use common sense in this. And like Stephen A. said, what do you expect these guys to do? Like, they're doing it the best they can. They receive medical care, and guess what? They do care about their families too, so they are taking precautions each and every day. I don't know what to say to this, Coach.
Well, I agree with you, Tony. Max Kellerman is just he's an embarrassment, really. Virtually everything he utters, I would take exception to. Well, I say virtually everything, most everything that he would come up with, and it's not certainly not unusual that he would have something bad to say about Brady. A lot of this goes to Brady because I'm sure he is not fond of Brady, like a number of people who are just jealous, absolutely jealous of the guy. I've heard him go on and on about, well, Brady didn't do this last year and he was falling off the cliff and so on. Never, ever stating the facts that Brady was playing with nobody around him. And what they were doing, he was doing with one slot guy at a back, trying to play in the National Football League. But anyway, that's enough about Maxie Boy. He is what he is, and he's an embarrassment. But the truth be known, the ones that are most dedicated to their sport are true competitors who want to win, are going to be doing whatever they possibly can. And if he has access to some people he's going to be playing with, in particular receivers, in that area, and they've got a chance to work out together and do some things and put the finishing touches on routes the way he would like them run, and routes within patterns and those types of things that are so difficult to get across in a short period of time. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. Now, take it a step further. During the season, there will be some people, some younger people primarily, who are not going to adhere to what will be preached to them about avoiding the virus. And they're going to get around some of their buddies and be at a bar or somewhere they shouldn't be. And I would suspect that during the year, somebody's going to come down with the virus, going to be tested positive. And they'll handle it. They'll handle it better in that situation than you could if they were in their hometown somewhere. So let's just, accept things as we're going to be seeing them this year. Hope that the vaccine is ready by the end of the year, which first of next year, which is what they're projecting now. And let's get on with getting on. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. We're hearing that by, of course, the holiday season, we could possibly have a vaccine. That's awesome. I think moving on, that right now it's just getting to that point, and there are precautions that we can take. Listen, Coach, you know that my significant other is a nurse, and hearing the great signs is, look, the people that have come in, they've taken great care of them. People are moving on. The majority of them obviously are older. We have to understand that, and I'm not going to get into the whole fact of, the younger generation can fight it. I get it because it is serious and everybody's different, but I think we have to use common sense in this as well. So I will say this, Coach. I trust that Tom Brady, he wants to play football more than anybody this season because he has the biggest chip on his shoulder to prove people wrong. So I understand, and I'm going to trust that he is taking really, really good care of the situation going on. So, Coach, I do want to get into this before we go to break here. Of course, the Redskins, look, coordinator here, Jack Del Rio. Now, this is I bring this up for a couple reasons here, Coach, but we know a lot of Redskin fans have been very vocal in the past few months. They're happy with the new coaches in Washington, and rightfully so. It's a new regime change, but some of these coaches are more active on Twitter maybe than the past. But one of the coaches, of course, stirred up a bit of controversy, that being Jack Del Rio. People saying he made a political statement. I'm not going to get into that, but Coach, it was a tweet, a statement someone had said towards him saying he was a supporter of President Trump. I want to make that there was a tweet toward him, not him, but said he was a supporter of President Trump. Nothing wrong with that, no matter who you support. I think that doesn't really matter. But he stated in his tweet, I want to make this very clear, and read this. This is his tweet, not my words. I'm 100% for America. If you're not, you can kiss my yeah, you know what I'm going to say next, Coach. And obviously people, it blew up, and basically coming out and people saying, even basketball coach George Karl saying, are you saying someone is not American if they don't support Trump? Which I laugh, Coach, because this is exactly, he's saying he's 100% for America, and because he supports Trump, then basically people are reiterating it and changing his words Coach, this is laughable. This is unbelievable. This is what I've been talking about for so long with the media, and they will twist anything to make a story out of nothing when he is simply saying he is 100% for America. Listen, I want to make this clear before I send it over to you, Coach. I don't care who you like. I will support the president no matter who the president is. When it's all said and done, I may not agree with what they're doing, but at the same time, they are the president of the country that I reside in, and I want them to do the things that are best for our country, so I will give them support. But I want to make this clear. This is the evil that media can do, twisting this man's words like this, Coach. It burns me up inside. I don't even know what to say, Coach.
Well, I see so much of it. I know what you're talking about, and I see so much of it now. It's unfortunate. I've almost gotten immune to it. That is, what we're going to be looking at. We're going to have to face here, like Jack, and I know Jack very well. In fact, he's got a beach house here, he and his wife, here in Pensacola. But Jack merely made a statement as to his likes, and that's not what they want to hear. If you don't say what they want to hear, and I'm talking about this group that I defined earlier, when I'm talking about the big picture. And it's going to go further than that. I wouldn't be surprised if they at some point don't have people stationed in stadiums and other places where the national anthem is played. And if you stand for the national anthem, certainly if you stand with your hand over your heart, you will be deemed a racist, unless you're willing to bow or kneel or whatever they suggest. And I will tell you right off the bat, I am 100% American too, and I wouldn't say it any other way. So I feel sorry for a number of people right now. But Jack Del Rio is an outstanding person, an outstanding football coach, and I just hate to see something like this come up. But you're right. This is typical media, and it is a part of the movement that's going on in this country right now.
Yeah, it is, Coach, and like I said, I meet people all the time that listen to the show, or just I have friends of mine that have different viewpoints than I do, that don't like Trump or support somebody else, and that's okay. I don't think that matters. I think it's we have to understand is the media, of course, you talk about the misery index, Coach. I thought that was great because that is so true. The media wants to tear people apart. They want to bring that because there's a story. That way they have people on one side, people on the other side, where I have said from the start, I want unity. I love unity in this country. I love all kinds of people because you know what? I'm not the perfect guy either, but I have friends that are willing to look past the differences that we have. And look, we talk all the time, maybe have a beer, regardless, whatever it is. That never comes up just because they may not support someone I don't or may believe a different way than I do. That's what this country was built on, and yet that's what's tearing this country apart right now is because the media and other people, activists, regardless of whatever you believe in, are wanting that. I'm not going to get into it, Coach. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I've said too.
I know and I understand totally, and I agree that. You have the right to believe whatever you want to believe, but you do not have the right to impose those beliefs on me or anyone else. And they have a right for their to believe in who they want to. They have a right to vote for whomever that they feel they want to vote for. And it should not should not be a discussion on that person's preference at all, certainly when it applies to the people that they're working with, or their job in any way, or their way of life.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, Coach, and we have to remember that, and that's the core value of it all. But, Coach, we got to go to break. We could talk about all this stuff all day long here. When we come back, look, the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey is going to talk, well, he kind of hinted a little bit on the Rich Eisen show of when the decision will be made for college football, whether it needs to be delayed or we're going to go on as planned. 11 Florida Gators have tested positive. Now, you hear that number. Now, that is since April. I want to make that very clear. They had a few test positive here last week. Moving on. We'll talk a little bit. We didn't get a chance to talk about the power rankings yesterday, Coach. We had some technical difficulties, but we'll get to that, as well as some more NFL news. We have a ton to talk about today, and we appreciate you joining us. We'll be back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Captain Eric Lawrence was training Afghan soldiers when his truck was hit by an IED.
I sat home alone for months. I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to go back to work. PVA helped me write my resume, got me a job interview. I got the job.
Paralyzed Veterans of America, changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Motorcycle owners, put this number in your phone now, 850-712-7710. Angelo's Towing. Hopefully nothing ever happens out there, but if it does, you'll need your bike towed. Angelo's Towing has the area's only state-of-the-art motorcycle towing cradle. They'll secure it upright, handling it with the care it deserves. You got a lot of money in that bike. Get out your phone, 850-712-7710. When you need a tow, call Angelo's.
The latest news and sports can be heard on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Get the latest news and football on Talk Football with Coach K. Daily sports talk on your drive home on The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. And a recap and look ahead of the sports week on Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday. Plus, national sports radio talk on Golic and Wingo, The Dan Lebertard Show with Stu Gotts, and The Paul Feinbaum Show. It all lives on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. This Wednesday afternoon, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you joining the show with us. We're talking some football as always and getting back into it, Coach. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey went on the Rich Eisen show yesterday talking, and of course, all the questions you can imagine that he is being bombarded with. None bigger than, hey, are we going to have a season? And Greg Sankey, of course, is getting, you can tell he's getting a little aggravated at this question, but he understands, everybody wants to know, they want to know. But he said, listen, I don't have to make that decision right now. I want to make that very clear. Now, we are prepared for a multitude of things that can happen right now, regardless of whether it's we have a mass of players test positive, whether we have fans, whether we don't have fans, whether we have packed stadiums, half stadiums. Moving on, how's travel going to be? Everything. They're working it out, and for the majority, they have the plans set up for that. They're just kind of waiting and seeing how things happen. I think that's all we do. We take this day by day. We've done it for a while now, and that's all we can do. But he said the decision, that's probably a late July time period. My thinking has shifted a little bit. We started June 8th after a 2-week medical exam period for these voluntary activities. He said on the 13th of July is when a little more practice can begin. I think we deserve the chance to see how that progresses. I would say before we get into full-blown practice, you're going to be in that decision-making process as it relates to what happens on Labor Day weekend. Coach, I think this is, once again, people want answers now. We're in that fast food society where, hey, I want it now, I want it quick, hurry up, and that's not the case with the COVID-19. I think people just need to sit back and, like everybody else, take this day by day. But, Coach, any surprise with Greg Sankey's comments? Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree with him totally, and I think they, like the NFL, they work through any number of different scenarios that they could be facing and how they would handle them. So they're ready. It's not like they're going to have to react to something that they haven't thought about. I think they'll be ready to take whatever advantage they can based on the circumstances. And why would you get into decisions or make decisions that are based on things that can happen over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks before they happen? Just common sense. So I think everybody agrees with that. And I truly believe that there will be, especially the Power 5 conferences, there will be college football. I'm certain there will be NFL football. Now, like I said before, it is easier to handle this virus and the situation that we're faced with. It's easier for the NFL to handle it than it is college for any number of reasons. But I think they'll find a way to get it done. And I think in 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks from now, we'll have a lot better picture on how it's being handled.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, like you said. In 4 or 5 weeks, we have that time. Let's take the time. Let's see what happens here as the cases go up. We don't expect the cases to continue to go up. They'll spike like they did before. We'll move through. We'll be able to get through this. Everybody just take a deep breath. The decision does not have to be made today, and we're going to be all right. But I will say this. Dan Mullen said, Coach, almost a month ago, flexibility is going to be the word everybody's going to have to get used to during this time. So I still stick with that because I agree. I think for NFL it is a lot easier, but for college football it's going to be a lot tougher. But these guys are preparing. That's where I want people to understand. Look, trust these guys, all right? This is different for everybody, but they have medical professionals. They have all the professionals here and experts that are making these decisions because the last thing they want to do is have something traumatic happen because then they're on the hook for it as well. Understand that. They're covering all the bases. Just you don't have to trust them, but you'll see in time. But, Coach, I do want to go back to the NFL side of things here. Look, a guy that you've talked about that was just phenomenal for New England for so long, that was kind of that hidden hero for him, Dante Scarnecchia. Of course, the offensive line coach is now retired for New England, but he was talking about, look, with Jarrett Stidham and the New England Patriots moving forward, and he kind of laughs because he says, look, the biggest thing with Jarrett Stidham is people need to understand, of course, who's in charge. Talking about Bill Belichick. If Bill Belichick puts him as quarterback 1, well, then there's obviously some belief that the young man can play some football because Belichick will not just settle. But he goes, look, in talking about Jarrett Stidham, he's a different guy in a couple of ways. No, he doesn't have the wealth of experience that Tom has. There's no doubt about that. You have to concede that. Yes, there are going to be some things when he's going to hold the ball longer than you want it to be held, but that's all about growing up in this league. He talks about Tom Brady going through the same growing pains. We need to remember that. He goes, these young guys, they take some time, but he would say this for Jarrett. He goes, he's a bright kid. He's a guy who, when he doesn't know, he'll take off. He'll ask. He asks questions all the time. He showed in the preseason last year that he's got some skills, and he knows when to get out there and play and to escape and things like this. But he goes, look, we need to understand there are going to be some growing pains, but for people to compare him to Tom Brady, there's no comparison, and it's not fair to him. But he goes, look, there is no doubt in my mind that he has skills, that he can go out and win some football games, and he has a great mind. He cares. He shows up early. He goes home late. and he believes that they're going to have success in New England. But he said, look, the biggest thing for them is making him feel comfortable in that offensive line. And that's something you've said, Coach. He goes, it all starts with the offensive line. We saw that, and he makes a comment about Tom Brady when the offensive line struggled a little bit. It changes the quarterback play. But, Coach, I think it's just funny because Scarnecchia comes out and basically he's just telling everybody, relax. All right, this team is going to go through a little bit of growing pains when you talk about the quarterback position because it is not Tom Brady back there, but this team is going to be just fine because of old ball coach back there, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well, that and a number of other reasons. And listen, they, as a coaching staff, and certainly Belichick, and I've gone over this before, I hope people realize that Stidham was really looked at and evaluated as an outstanding football player when he was in high school. He was one of the top high school players in the country. He ended up going to Baylor. At that time, Baylor was getting a heck of a lot of players, if you remember. And then when everything happened and the coaching staff was fired and so on, he had the right to transfer, and he did. He transferred to Auburn. I don't believe, and this is my assumption, more than an assumption, I truly believe that Auburn was not the best fit for Stidham. I think he would have done tremendously well in an offense like LSU had last year with Brady as the coach there. So I do think that Scarnecchia, they're going to miss Scarnecchia tremendously because he's done a great job with that offensive line over and over and over. He retired once before, and Belichick talked him into coming back because he's retired for sure this time. But they know, these coaches know that this kid was a heck of a good quarterback, had all the quarterback skills, meaning not a sitting duck back there, but an outstanding arm, could make all the throws, had some football savvy about him, intelligent, could make the pre-snap looks and the immediate post-snap looks, and do all the things that a quarterback is called on to do in the National Football League. Now, again, he'll learn, like you said, he'll get better and better with experience. But he's a good quarterback candidate. So I think people are really, really on the outside, not really knowing what they talk about when they think that this is just somebody they're picking off the trash pile to play quarterback. That's not the case.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. Everybody wanting to buy into the Buffalo Bills this offseason, I'm not buying into it. And you know what? We have plenty of time to figure out what's going to happen. But once again, Jarrett Stidham, I completely agree with you. I think Jarrett Stidham, you go back and you watch his film. Don't just take stats. Don't just look at things. I think it's important, the success that he did have at Auburn. The young man can play quarterback. And let's be honest, Belichick does not bring a guy in, regardless of when he drafts him, if he doesn't believe that he could possibly be able to play for him. And last year we saw in the preseason, he had a good preseason, young quarterback though. But remember, he hasn't, like you said, has not been in an opportunity really anywhere like he's been here, but he hasn't gotten the opportunity to showcase his true talent. And that's where people say, yeah, well, Stidham's not very good. I laugh because you have no idea. You got to get out of here with all that mess. But anyway, Coach, listen, I want to have plenty of time to talk about these power rankings. So when we come back from break, we're going to talk about the USA Today power rankings. We broke down 1 through 5. We're going to go 6 through 10. Some interesting teams here, especially at number 6. Coach, I think we both disagree with, but we'll talk about that when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Over the last few months, we've realized that those excuses of not doing yard work, you've had to pay up. No excuses to get fat eating a bunch of rancid chicken wings and 3 pitchers because it's football Sunday. Tired of trying to pronounce names overseas at 4 a.m. that we don't know in Korea in baseball. But sports is coming back, and we're optimistic to carry all the biggest games on the Sports Drive, 5 to 7 each every night on ESPN Pensacola. Thank God all of this didn't happen during college football season.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
They fake, the lob, wide open, touchdown, Doug Baldwin.
Bigger body than Wilson likes to throw to, big target. Here's Baldwin, smaller target, and he ducks in for the touchdown.
Hi, this is Doug Baldwin, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. On this Wednesday afternoon, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning into the show with us. We're talking some football as always and getting into this. Coach, we were going to get into this yesterday. Had a little bit of technical difficulty there at the end with the thunderstorms coming through. The power rankings here in the NFL. Now, we broke down 1 through 5. Of course, we disagree with some of these. Obviously, the Chiefs, number 1, Ravens, number 2, 49ers, 3, Saints, 4, and Bucks, 5. Moving on here, 6 through 10, Coach. Look, the Buffalo Bills as that number 6, and I almost laugh at this a little bit, but look, I get it. The Bills have a good defense. We know that defense has carried them for quite some time, but the Bills, I guess, are being compared to a better version of the Chicago Bears, and they have everything required to compete at the highest level, with the exception of a quarterback they can trust. Now, that's not my words. I understand that to an extent. But, Coach, when you look at Josh Allen, we've talked about him a little bit. He put up some decent moments, and he's a good-looking quarterback at times. The erratic nature of his overall game kind of showed up, obviously, in that wild card loss to the Texans. But we both kind of like Allen here. He's got a little bit of growing to do. But, Coach, when you look overall at this team, I think the Stephon Diggs is what people are saying put them over the top. Well, we both talked about this. I disagree with that. They have John Brown, Cole Beasley, and those guys. Of course, Dawson Knox at tight end. Offensively, I think their game is more built to run the football just because of Devin Singletary. They now have Zach Moss, the running back out of Utah. They also have T.J. Yeldon, the old Jacksonville running back. We remember him right over here from Daphne High School. Watching him play high school football was always fun. But, Coach, I think it comes down to this. The quarterback play is tremendous for Buffalo. Now, they have to get through this team we just talked about in the New England Patriots. But, Coach, number 6 on the power rankings here. Are you buying this?
No, I don't. I don't think that they're anywhere near 6, to be honest with you. I think New England certainly would be rated ahead of them. I would think Seattle would be rated ahead of them. Probably the Rams. Maybe 2 or 3 other teams rated ahead of them, but they're not the 6 team. And I think we talked about yesterday or day before. We don't agree with the top 5 either, so we can go on from there.
Coach, I will ask you real quick before we move on. Josh Allen, do you believe that he is the quarterback, can be the quarterback for the future for the Bills? I mean, is there have you seen enough that he has, I know we hate that potential word, I won't use that, but he has the ability to be that guy for him, or is he just too erratic right now, or is that a part of, like we heard Scarnecchia talk about Stidham, it's just a part of the growing pains moving on?
Well, here's the way I would evaluate Allen. Now, again, I should preface by saying I would like to have firsthand knowledge, meaning I'd like to have the ability to see him up close and personal, and I'd like to have a lot more film to look at. So this would be what I would say is an unqualified evaluation, but I have played and coached the position for a number of years. I do have a pretty good feel for quarterbacks, but on first look, having prefaced and put the disclaimer in there the way I have, I think that he's a raw, talented young man. He's got he can move around with the football. He's got good feet. He's a big, strong kid. Checks all those boxes. Strong arm, but he doesn't know where it's going when he releases it. I think that he's probably well behind the curve, JP, on acknowledgement of defensive fronts, coverages, adjustments to those pre-snap look, immediate post-snap look, matchups, all that I just talked about, which is vital to a quarterback, and certainly then accuracy once you've determined who you're going to throw it to. Those windows are very small. You got to be extremely accurate, and he is not that. He's very inaccurate. So having said all that, when you put it all together, you have to say that he is not a quarterback that is qualified to put a team on his shoulders and take them to the promised land. Now, if they're so good defensively and running the football that they can carry him, that might be the case. That would be the case for any high rating. But you still have to be able to play, to get to the promised land, you got to be able to play the entire game, which means that you've got to be able to be productive in the passing game. And I don't think they will be. And I agree with Diggs. I think Diggs could be a problem in their locker room as well. So anyway, that's a rundown.
Yeah, no, that's Coach. I look, like you said, you've played and you've coached at the highest level in the NFL. There, you played the quarterback position. You understand what goes into it. You were one of those guys when you're talking about drafting and looking at film and everything. You understand what to look for a quarterback in the NFL. You understand all the little details that matter so much. So that's a great assessment. That's why I was just curious, because we hear Josh Allen, we hear about him all the time. We hear about the erratic nature. We've seen him being compared to Brett Favre. A little bit different, but look, I agree. I think the passing game is going to struggle for him. I think, again, with Stephon Diggs, the comment you just made there, he was complaining about not getting the ball enough with the Vikings with a passing quarterback in Kirk Cousins. I don't know how that's going to be a match made in heaven, but we'll see. For the Bills, they've got to get over that hump. They got to take down the Patriots first and foremost. But number 6, I think we all disagree with that. But Coach, number 7 here, the Green Bay Packers, and I want to say yes on this, Coach. I do, because this was a team that was one game away last year from making the Super Bowl. But then again, this team had the opportunity to jump other teams and take that next step to help Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger. For people saying his numbers are down, well, yes, his numbers are down, because look at what he had to throw to last year. Very important to look that he had, Alan Lazard was basically his go-to guy because Devontae Adams was out for a while. We know Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams were Obviously, great running backs for them. This team has built that defense up because Aaron Rodgers was tired of outscoring people, and they finally got some help, but then they quit helping him on the offensive side in the draft, not even taking one wide receiver out there. Obviously, in the first round, taking Jordan Love. Coach, I mean, look, this is a team I still think is very good, but this is a team that could have took the next step there to challenge the 49ers as one of the top teams when they were one game away last year, once again, from making the Super Bowl. The Green Bay Packers at number 7. Are you buying this, or should they be higher or lower on this list?
No, I'm not buying it either, because I think they're going to slide some this year, JP. They have a great quarterback in Rodgers. They did a horrible job with the draft, absolutely terrible. And I think that's going to start showing with their performance, because as you get into an NFL season with the rigors involved, all of the aches and pains, the hurts, the ups and downs, the mental ups and downs as well, you tend to have to have an awful lot of faith in and a dependency on those around you who are responsible for helping you win, putting the tools together. And part of that is a coaching staff, obviously, giving you the game plan and having prepared properly against the team you're going to play. You have to have a lot of confidence in that. You have to believe in them. And then the people responsible for bringing in the talent. Now, if you think Rodgers, with all his experience, his time, and his intelligence, doesn't fully understand that they made a tremendous faux pas with that draft where they could have helped him, and believe me, there were some excellent receivers available at that time in the draft, and they passed on him and went for a quarterback who's realistically not going to play for a long time, if ever. I think it's I think the sum result of all of that I've just been talking about, I think it's going to be detectable for maybe mid-season on. I think it's going to be a difficult season for the Brady's.
Yeah, I do too, and it's a complete slap in the face to Aaron Rodgers, because even going out and drafting Jordan Love in that first round, okay, that's what you believe in, which I disagree with. I think even people within the organization disagree with, but you still didn't go out and get any help when it comes to the wide receiver position, which is what you needed. They did go get a tight end, but they have a tight end. So I'm not going to get into all that. I think, look, they did a great job building that defense. That team was on the cusp. They just needed a little more depth at that receiver position, and they could take that next step. It's going to be tough, obviously, with the 49ers anyway, but they did not do themselves any favor. And to hear, well, we're building for the future. Well, the future is now, because you were one game. It's different if the Cincinnati Bengals do something like this where they got a long way to go. This is a team, once again, I say this because people need to realize this. This is a team that was one game away, that was 13-3 in the regular season, one game away from the Super Bowl. You needed a couple players, one or two here and there, that would put you over the top. So I'm not going to buy into the whole, well, we're building for the future type thing. I'm not going to buy it. But, Coach, look, number 8 here, my Tennessee Titans. I don't know what to think about this because I don't know this Titans team. I'm a little surprised at the success that they did have last year. But what I will ask you on this is, Coach, when you look at Tannehill coming in, we talked to Mike Vrabel yesterday on the show. Awesome to have him join us. Business as usual with him. But, look, Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith deserves a little credit for what they did last year. But, Coach, when you look at this team as a whole, the defense, they had a draft that I thought personally, I was excited about some of the players. I thought they could have done a little bit different, but I'm not going to say neither here nor there. I will see what happens. But with Tannehill coming back, the success he had last year, we saw, of course, Derrick Henry in the run game. Coach, do you believe that the Tennessee Titans can replicate success and even take it further? And can they continue to run the football at will like they did last year and have success in the NFL?
Well, I think here's what you got to look at overall. They created some tremendous groundwork for going forward as a franchise last year. You know that momentum is crucial. Success breeds success. The experience of those players having gone through that is going to be huge for them this year, especially early in the season. I think that they are going to be, my own personal feeling is that they'll be somewhat improved defensively. I don't think they would allow Baltimore to throw for 500 yards again. Overall, I don't know that they helped themselves that much in the draft or in free agency, but according to Vrabel and Jim Haslett, they feel like they helped themselves some, with the draft. So we'll have to see what happens there. I don't see them being the same football team as far as record is concerned and winning the AFC championship game and going on to the Super Bowl. I don't see that right now with them. It could happen. They're not out of that picture by any stretch, but I just don't see it happening this year. It could happen. And again, like I told him yesterday, I give him a lot of credit for deciding to make that change at quarterback, which really helped them go on that winning streak there, the winning edge, and put them over the top. Now they do have him back. That's another big plus this year. They have him back with all that additional experience, and they probably have the most impressive running back in the league, in football period, anywhere. So they're gonna make that happen, and they're gonna play good defense and good special teams. So they could even tighten things up a little bit more. But I just don't see them being able to duplicate what they did last year. But I still see them being in the playoffs some way, somehow.
Yeah, I personally, Coach, and I know we got to go to break here real quick, and we'll finish the power rankings here, but I see it being like last year. Look, finishing runner-up in that division right there, finding their way in a wild card situation, making the playoffs, and they're just as dangerous. We know that, but I think it's going to be tough because the Colts and what they did last year, where last year the Texans overtook that division. I think the Colts are the team to look out for, and I agree with you. Look, I'm realistic. I love the Tennessee Titans, but I am realistic type of fan of understanding what it's going to take to be able to take that next step. And the Colts did themselves a tremendous favor this offseason. That's all I'm going to say on that. I hate to say it, but it is what it is at this point. But listen, Coach, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys at number 9 here on the list and the Minnesota Vikings at number 10 real quick. We got to go to a break, though, so we have plenty of time to talk about this. You listen to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Coming up on Sports Call this Saturday, golf's favorite caddy and sports analyst Michael Collins will be joining us. Also, Jason Fitz at 12:30. That's this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you joining the show with us. Finishing up here, Coach. Look, number 9, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think this is obviously a team that is going to be interesting to see what happens this year. Dak Prescott has now signed his franchise tender. We'll see what happens from here on. They have Amari Cooper. They signed to a 5-year, $100 million contract. Of course, they still have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. CeeDee Lamb they picked up in the draft. I thought they did a good job in the draft. Thought CeeDee was a great pickup for them. They still have Michael Gallup, who is an awesome – look, he's the number 1 receiver on many teams. Look, McCarthy is in. Jason Garrett is out. Coach, what do you say about the Dallas Cowboys at number 9?
Oh, I think they're probably somewhere 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. About midway through, I would think the Cowboys, maybe a little shaded toward the upper half of the league, but maybe not quite that high. I just don't think that. I don't think the Cowboys are set to do what they would have to do to get all the way. Now they are they do have an advantage in their division, in that they have Washington and New York, and they are ready to compete for the division title right now. But Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia takes the title, and then it'll be when whether Dallas can come in as a wild card, because I really believe Philadelphia will be number 1 team in that division.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like the Eagles a lot, Coach. I do like the improvements that Dallas has made, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Coach, the final team here, number 10, the Minnesota Vikings. Look, that leaves some teams off of our top 10 that obviously we believe belong, but I'm not as upset with this team. This is a good team. I think getting rid of course, Stephon Diggs was a good move. They basically traded him for Justin Jefferson, the fantastic receiver out of LSU. Adam Thielen's still there. We know, of course, Kyle Rudolph at the tight end position. Kirk Cousins, which I like a lot. I hope he can win the big game, because that's the big question mark. Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison in the backfield. The defense is still good, not great, not as physical as it used to be. But, Coach, number 10, the Minnesota Vikings, what say you?
Yeah, I like them there. I think they're a good football team, and you're right. You hit all the high spots there on offense. And look, if you put it all together, they do have some momentum going. They played well, good experience. They have a good quarterback. I don't care what people say. He is very good quarterback in the National Football League. They have now talent around him. I think Diggs was a problem. And when you talk about their defense, you have to understand that they play a little bit different style defense than most. They're smaller than most teams defensively. They don't have a lot of bigger people, but they can move, and they play a lot of gap. Moving people into gaps and stunning on defense, which is a little different than most teams. But they can play it. And they're a good football team. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you are right with that team. They do play a little bit different style of defense. But, Coach, it comes down to this. Look, they are built to win right now. This is a good team, a team that will challenge Green Bay just because, look, Green Bay had an opportunity to take the next step, and they didn't. Let's just call it what it is at this point. So this is a team where I look at the Vikings picking up Justin Jefferson in the first round along with Jeff Gladney at that corner position. Fantastic moves. A team that definitely we'll be talking about, especially when it comes playoff time. But, Coach, that sound means it's time for us to go. Didn't get to everything, but you know what? We're going to give it our best shot tomorrow. But, Coach, as always, it's been a pleasure.
You bet. Enjoyed it, and we will talk to you tomorrow, JP.
Absolutely, Coach. Appreciate it, and appreciate our listeners out there for tuning in today. Look, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, talking some football with you right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Let's take your take on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, and ESPN News. I'm Jason Fitz, and we start the hour with some headlines that you need to know. Indiana Pacers star Malcolm Brogdon has tweeted out, quote, "I recently tested positive for the COVID-19 virus and am currently in quarantine. I'm doing well, feeling well, and progressing well. I plan to join my teammates in Orlando for the resumption of the NBA season and playoffs." Just another player being affected, as we are going to continue, remember, to see this more and more over the course of the next few days as players are being tested before they are allowed to go into the bubble. Speaking of coronavirus tests, Brooks Koepka has withdrawn from the Travelers Championship after his caddy tested positive for the coronavirus. He will withdraw from the championship after Ricky Elliott, his caddy, tested positive. According to the PGA Tour, Koepka had not officially pulled out of this weekend's tournament in Cromwell, Connecticut, but was planning to do so, according to Golf Week, which interviewed the golfer. His quote, "I'm going to pull out to protect everybody else. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't want to risk anyone's life if they have respiratory issues or underlying conditions. The only way this tour can continue is if guys do this sort of thing and be proactive about it." So Brooks Koepka will not be part of that. Also, coronavirus news for Major League Baseball. All-star outfielder Charlie Blackmon of the Colorado Rockies has become the first Major League Baseball player known to have tested positive for the coronavirus. According to reports, a source confirmed Blackmon's test results to the Associated Press. The Denver Post had first reported Blackmon's condition, saying Tuesday that 3